Good afternoon, sports fans. We're going to give you a little preview of tonight's Mock Madness games. But first of all, I'd like to just celebrate the anniversary of the 1979 NCAA final that featured Michigan State Spartans versus the Indiana State Sycamores. It was known as the Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson matchup for the first time. As you can see, I'm in my retro 79 outfit, and let's go back to that game. I'd like to give a shout out first to Chris Jones, a good friend of mine and the senior boys coach at Northern, for telling me that the game was on live or was on TSN today at 12 o'clock. So there might be a review of that game again today sometime on TSN if you can find it. It was a matchup made for the ages. You had Bird, over the tiny school in Indiana, Magic at Michigan State in his hometown. Both were great teams. Both were going to be great NBA players in the future. Magic Spartans got the best of them that night. Magic played really, really well. I think he had 24 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and Bird really struggled from the field that day. Judd Heathcote, the Michigan State coach that year, did a great job of game planning for Bird, and Greg Kelser, who's an analyst for the Pistons now, did a great job on Bird, and they doubled him a lot and just forced him into a lot of tough shots. That really changed the way I looked at basketball, and it really energized me to become a basketball player and to follow basketball and to watch it. That sort of was the changing part for me in grade 8. It also was a changing part for the NBA, because these two would come in the NBA the following year. Bird would become the Rookie of the Year in the regular season. Magic would go on to be the MVP of the World Championship when the Lakers took down the Sixers in 6 games. The next 9 years after that, both of them were in the NBA Finals all the way to the end of the decade. Bird had 3 MVP titles, or MVP selections during the regular season. Magic had 3 as well. Magic's teams won 5 NBA championships. Bird's won 3 NBA championships. They faced each other 3 times in NBA Finals, including the first time in '84, when Bird was also the playoff MVP as well as the regular season MVP. The two of them changed basketball. The ratings were not good, and if you followed basketball back in the late 70s, the NBA Finals were basically on tape delay. So you could watch the game at 11:30 at night, and you just had to make sure you didn't watch any newscasts or anything. That's how bad the NBA was for marketing then. And then a few years after Bird and Magic in the lead, the arenas became full again, and Larry Stern came into as the commissioner of the NBA, and he signed a huge deal with all the TV stations back then. In 1984, Michael Jordan arrives the next year, and the rest is history. The NBA takes off, and it's been a global empire ever since then. Both Magic and Bird, as they got later on in their careers, they both basically, Bird had a bad back. He started to slow down in the late 80s. Magic, obviously, we're all aware of his HIV in 1991. Both will go on and play for the Dream Team that featured those two, Jordan, Barkley, Ewing, and the rest of Hall of Fame players. So that was sort of their ending of their NBA there. Anyways, that's just my little recap on the Bird Magic matchup. Now I want to get to the preview for tonight's Mock Madness games here. And I have 4 games on tap tonight. We are sponsored by Bud Light, as you can see. Bud Light, when you're thirsty, Bud Light's the answer. Here we go. Put these glasses on now. The Thursday night preview here. First game is Kansas, number 1 Kansas versus Wisconsin. Basically, Kansas wants to speed this game up a lot. The Badgers want to play a half-court game. Kansas wants to get it into Azubuike and low, but they want to run at every opportunity they can. Wisconsin plays at one pace, and we just call that deliberate. I'm picking Kansas in a slow-scoring affair, and hopefully Wisconsin can slow it down, but I just see Kansas as too strong. The second game is Iowa versus Villanova. Iowa can play at any kind of style they want. They've had games in the 90s this year. They've had games in the 50s this year. They have a deep bench, so most of their offense goes through their All-American Luka Garza. He's one of the top scorers in Division I this year. The Villanova Wildcats are well coached, and they play well together. Sometimes they're too dependent on the three-point ball. So if they go cold and Iowa can get the ball to Garza in good spots, you might see an upset tonight. I do like the Hawkeyes in an upset over Nova tonight. In the Midwest region, we have the number 1 Dayton Flyers. They're playing an in-state neighbor, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Dayton has Obi Tippin, who was the player of the year in some publications. The Flyers' schedule was not as strong as a lot of the other teams in the Sweet 16. Ohio State is battle-tested. We'll see what happens tonight. But the Buckeyes have been Jekyll and Hyde all year. They can beat anybody on any given night, and they can lose to anybody. So we'll see who comes out tonight in the bragging rights for the state of Ohio. I like Dayton in a tight one tonight. The last game tonight is the MSU, or the Michigan State Spartans, versus the Kentucky Wildcats. It's probably the best game on the card tonight. The Spartans should be pumped up for this one. It's the anniversary of the '79 team winning the NCAA championship. Sparty has been up and down all year. They were preseason #1 pick. They sort of didn't live up to those expectations. They had some injury problems, but Izzo's got them playing well right now. The Wildcats have been playing great. They have more experience than they've had in the past 3 or 4 tournaments. They're not depending on freshmen all the time. They have a couple sophomore and juniors that are really playing well for them. I'm taking the Spartans with senior guard Cassius Winston coming in this could be his last game, so I expect him to have a really, really big game tonight, and I expect Sparty to win by 3 or 4 points tonight. Anyways, that's me signing off, and I'll have all your scores of the Thursday night Mock Madness tomorrow. Thank you.